So, for much of the off season of the second season of Star Trek, fans of the show were writing and lobbying NBC to keep it on for the third season, and they were grateful when it was announced it would be renewed for a third season. However, the premiere of that third season, which was hit and miss, say that's an understatement, was so putrid and so dumb. Brain and brain, what is brain? And like I said, in Canada, it made front page news of basically saying this is probably one of the worst episodes of the classic series because it just made no friggin' sense. It's called Spock's Brain. It's the third season premiere episode of Star Trek, written by Gene L. Kuhn under the pseudonym Lee Cronin. It was directed by Mark Daniels. First broadcast on September 20th, 1968. During the episode, an alien female played by Marge Doucet beams aboard the Enterprise, and after incapacitating the rest of the crew, surgically removes Spock's brain. Exactly. Captain Kirk and the crew have just hours to locate it and restore it before Spock's body dies. Widely regarded as the worst episode of the series, it was the first to air after NBC moved the show from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday nights. So, most of the high school and college students were out partying or at 10 p.m., but a lot of people were watching Star Trek before going out, and this hurt their ratings heavily. Now, again, feature music by Fred Steiner, cinematography by the great Jerry Finnerman, and Sheila Lighton played Luma, and James Nares played Morg. Now, they're wearing mini skirts. They have like these buzzing things on their wrists. There was a period of this on the 1 years with, of course, Mr. Savage playing Mr. Shatner. Now, in this one, the Federation starship USS Enterprise, under the command of Kirk, encounters an alien ship from which a mysterious woman beams onto the Enterprise bridge. She stuns the entire crew and examines each of them, taking particularly interest in Vulcan First Officer Spock. When the crew wakes up, Dr. McCoy finds Spock in sickbay with his brain surgically removed. Because of his unusual Vulcan physiology, which will fit any plot hole in any episode of the series, Spock's body can be kept alive in a state, but for no more than 24 hours, giving Captain Kirk that much time to recover his stolen brain, or Spock's stolen brain, or maybe the brains of the audience. The Enterprise follows the alien ship's Ion trail to the sixth planet of the Sigma Draconia system, a harsh world in the middle of an ice age. A band of male inhabitants attack the landing party, and a captured attacker warns Kirk about the others, also known as the Givers of Pain and Delight. I think the Morgs were into S&M or some kind of spacey thing. Kirk asks about the females of his kind, but it's met only with bewilderment. Now, the landing party joined by McCoy, accompanied by Spock's mobile body, where a machine is moving him. Again, the device is controlled by McCoy from one he has fashioned from scratch. The party travels deep underground and encounters a woman named Luma. When questioned, Luma shows the mentality of a child. Spock's voice is heard through a communicator, but before the conversation goes further, Kirk and his party are captured. The party is brought up before the leader of the women, Kara, the same woman who appeared in the Enterprise bridge. Kirk demands to know what they have done with Spock's brain, but Kara claims she doesn't understand what her brain is, explaining brain and brain, what is brain. As he tried to explain the function of her brain, she realizes that they're seeking is the controller, on which the underground civilization is completely dependent. Now, the landing party escapes and follows Spock's signals to a control room, where his brain has been placed. Kara tells him that the skills needed to remove her brain were provided by a machine called a teacher, and that knowledge so obtained lasts no more than 3 hours. McCoy decides to use the teacher himself, and then quickly begins the procedure to restore Spock's brain. He thinks he can finish it off. Now, McCoy's new knowledge begins to fade before the operation is complete, but Spock provides assistance after McCoy reestablishes Spock's ability to speak. Now, without the controller, Kara feels for the woman's existence, but Kirk assures her that the men and women can learn to survive to get her on the surface. Much to McCoy's dismay, Spock recites a protracted history of the culture of Sigma Draconia 6 with the funny epilogue. Now, the episode was written by former Star Trek producer Gene Kuhn under the pseudonym Lee Cronin from Massive Regions. Now, the episode is generally regarded by fans and those who took part in the production, from cast to crew, as the worst episode of the series. William Shatner described it as one of the series' worst episodes, calling the plot a tribute to NBC executives who slashed the show's budget and plays it in a bad time slot. Nimoy wrote, Leonard Nimoy of course, frankly during the entire shooting of that episode I was embarrassed, a feeling that overcame me many times during the final season of Star Trek. Now Zach Handel, the AV Club, gave the episode a D, but he said it did have funny moments and some parts had a lumpy B-movie charm. Now in the book, What Were They Thinking? The 100 Dumbest Events in Television History, the author ranked the episode as number 71. A device similar to that used as remotely operates Spock's brainless body is used in the episode The Magnificent Ferengi of Star Trek Deep Space Nine to animate a cadaver. Now, Swedish synth-pop band Spock has featured Mr. Spock's brain on their 93 album 5-Year Mission. Now, the rock band Fish also performs a song entitled Spock's Brain. Now, the episode is referenced in Modern Principles of Microeconomics by Tyler Cohen and Alex Tabarrok of George Mason University of an example of how it's virtually impossible to have a command economy if that not even Spock's brain could run an economy. Now, Star Trek co-producer Robert Jessman recalled in the book Inside Star Trek, The Real Story, he was the person who suggested that Spock's brain, after being rescued by the Enterprise crew, actually takes over during surgery and instructs Dr. McCoy exactly how about reinserting it back where it came from, inside Spock's skull. Now, as of 2003, the episode has an IMDb weighted score of 5.6. Now, in 2013, Wired gave it credit, ranking this as one of the most underrated episodes of the original series, noting that despite it being regarded as a worst episode, it occupies a special place in Star Trek lore. Yeah, at the bottom of the list. However, they also suggested the episode was skippable in their binge-watching guide for the original series in 2015. Now, excuse me. This episode was rated the third worst episode of all the episodes of Star Trek franchise, including the later series, but before Star Trek Discovery by Screen Rant. In 2018, CBR included this episode in a list of Star Trek episodes that are so bad they must be seen. A ranking of every episode of the original series by Hollywood placed this episode 78 out of 79 episodes. I think the Eden episode is 79. CBCS News listed Spock's brain as one of the worst in the series, and Den of Geek called it the second best worst Star Trek episode. Now, the episode was first released in Japan in December of 1993 as part of the complete Season 3 Laserdisc set. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. Like I said, to see the kitsch of Spock and Kirk and McCoy being run by those girls just just tremendous. But you got to understand, back in the day, ladies and gentlemen, you could get away with women with no brains and mini skirts and Spock's brain being taken out and put back in. You wouldn't get away with that in 2025 in any Star Trek series. And the idea about that, they never brought it up again. You think McCoy was used again, you're almost as bad when you lost your brain, Spock. You know. But I guess there's a rumor of McLean, the Canadian comedy duo, is very, very rough with their language. They do a Spock's brain parody, but it hasn't been recorded, but I guess it has to do something about Spock hanging out with the chicks, and he said, well, the only way I can get back with you is put the brain back in or something like that, and it was pretty weird. But ladies and gentlemen, when this first came out, it was like, why? And Leonard Nimoy was, I think, nominated for 2 Best Supporting Actor back-to-back at the Emmys, and to see this happen, you know, it didn't ruin the career of all the Star Trek actors, but it put Star Trek from real science fiction to kind of, you know, a drinking game parody. And but there's other good Season 3 episodes like Spectre the Gun and the Enterprise Incident, but this is just pourri. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing with our Star Trek podcast, let us know what to like, comment, subscribe, or share. Sorry for the cough. It's a flu going around New Brunswick. Hope you don't get it.